Good morning and welcome to another ServiceNow Community Live. I am Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow, and I am here to share with you, let's get the right screen up there, some of the stuff from the ServiceNow community that we find. Every day is a new adventure. Every day has new questions, new issues. Some are replies to yesterday's or questions a few days ago. Heck, some are replies to questions and answers 2, 3, 8 years ago. Speaking of old and long time ago, I am Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. I've been a customer and implementer and employee of ServiceNow for about 10 years. So I've got some experience behind me, mostly on the platform integrations, custom applications, that sort of thing. And I am here to share my knowledge with you as I go through some of the questions and answers that customers bring forth. Let me just do a real quick refresh on a couple of these things, make sure that our streaming is going well. I see it's live on Twitch. We do this stream. I'll make my head little. We do stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I want to get that up and running. If you are watching live, give me a shout out. Love to say hi, see where you're from. If you're riding to work, if you're at work, if you're coming home from work, because this could be watched anywhere and always, say hi in the comments section. And we also have this on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, go over there. You'll get notified when it comes up, just as I just did. As soon as I hit Command B on my keyboard to start broadcasting, I got notification on my computer over there and my watch and my phone and email. You'll find out. You'll know one way or another. And you'll also find out not just this content, but the community has an Ask the Experts series, a part of which is our Tech Now series. We are doing another show on Tech Now on performance analytics on January 25th at noon Pacific time. You can figure out where that is in your neighborhood. I am not on Pacific, so I always have to do math. It's all kinds of fun. What else? I will be using a developer instance. Let's go over to this tab, show you what's happening over there. Oh, wrong one. A personal developer instance. I'll get logged in on that. Must have a timeout of about 10 seconds. I just logged in. Maybe I should log in properly. I don't trust that little pop-up for whatever reason. Go over to developer.servicenow.com. Not only can you get a free developer instance, this is a full-fledged instance, not something stripped down. In fact, you can activate plugins that normally a customer would pay for. So you can try them and test them out and find out what value they bring to your organization. And developer.servicenow.com is where you get that. You also get all the scripting APIs, all the developer information, learning paths, links to meetups. We are in the process of redoing the developer site. Let me bring that up, show you what it looks like today. And look for some new and exciting changes. I think you'll like the design is good today, but we're going to make it better. That's what we're after. And if you want to find out more information on that, you can go to, as I mentioned, URL on the bottom of the screen, right there, right there, right there. Go there. The other thing I want to mention before we get started is, let's put away the title. So if I can remember how I did that. I've been changing the hotkeys around so they behave a little bit better. Knowledge 18 is coming up. This is our big conference where you and 20,000 of your closest friends get together to discuss all things ServiceNow. I will be there. I look forward to seeing you. It is mind-blowing what you can get. A lot of people ask me, well, how can I learn ServiceNow better, quicker? This is a place to do it. This is one great resource to get your head around ServiceNow. It's sort of like Disney World for ServiceNow. There's so much there. You're not going to be able to absorb everything in 1 week. There are sessions, there are hands-on labs, there are keynotes, there's the big convention floor, part of which is dedicated to CreatorCon. CreatorCon is the developer section. So if you are a developer or an admin, jump right in, check that box when you register that says, I want to go to CreatorCon, so you get the credentials on your badge. It's no extra cost to attend CreatorCon. I am putting together a lab. I just got some toys in the mail yesterday that I need to start putting together. Have fun with that. And I will be putting together my IoT lab for CreatorCon. Looking forward to sharing that information with you. If you're there, find me. It's easy to find me. I'm the ServiceNow guy with the red bow tie. I will generally be in the developer, what do we call it? The dev hub of service. I saw an early floor map, great positioning. I mean, you can't miss us. If if you somehow walk by the dev hub, you must have been looking at your phone, not paying attention, because we'll be there. I look forward to seeing you. Go sign up. Early bird pricing ends in, if I recall, 11 days. And I should just bring up the website since it's right behind me anyway. That's still going on the developer side, but you get the idea. Look forward to seeing you there. Have I covered all of the basic necessities? Let's find out. We do Twitch. Oh, the community. Yes, the great segue to get started here. If you do have a question, go over to the community and post it there. If you just want to say hi, jump right into YouTube or Twitch. You give a wave, shout out, say, hey, I'm on my way to work. Traffic is terrible, or the weather is finally getting warmer. I love to interact with you. If you've got an idea about any of the stuff I'm working on, let me know. But if you've got a true, honest question that you want to ask, please don't ask it in the chat, because I'm not going to respond to it. It's not searchable, it's not findable, it's not referenceable later. We want the community to be a community, not this offshoot of, well, I remember Chuck answering that thing on YouTube a while back. That's not where we want to go. It's hard to find that stuff unless it's very episodic, and this is not episodic. This is like a daily anthology. I'm going to dig into a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to share my thoughts. Sometimes I know the answer, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I got to go look it up. Sometimes I got to do a little experiment. And this is the way that I allow you to get inside of my head to understand what the process is there. So you can take what you like from my head and you can throw out what you don't and use it in your organization to be more effective as a ServiceNow developer and administrator. So, that was 7 minutes of talking. Let's do something real. No wonder this hour goes by so fast. Get rid of the titles. Let's see. That one. Hotkeys are working fine today. Let's start out. I've got a few things in the inbox. I see 8 messages in there. I've got a number of things on the unanswered list, so we'll just jump right in and look at this. A whole bunch of these blue tags mean that nobody's replied yet. Let's be the first one to reply. Text written in between tag disappears. Take a look at that. Line manager approval. Let's see what's up with that. Managers are, if the data's there, we should be able to get to it. I have been asked to, I have been tasked to find out, to configure ServiceNow to send out SMS to a number of users. Can you provide me some guidance? Okay, there's a couple of answers I've got for that. Service portal scripted list. Financial management, how to revert express messages from command GS flush messages. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Just to warn you, it's there. And I don't see any tissues within hand reach. How to gray out values in collector. You don't? If you do have a question, 2 tips for now. Make sure it's in the right space. So if it's a developer question about scripting or something, put it in the developer community space. If it's a question about ITOM, put it in the ITOM space. If it's a question about performance and analytics and reporting, put it in that space. So put it in the right space so you get the right audience. The second tip is put the business requirement or the use case in there as well. If you've got error messages, put those in. Include as much information without going overboard. We don't need to know your history of employment since 1996. That's not pertinent to the information. But instead of saying, how do I create a field to do X? Let us know what you're trying to do. That often helps us say, you're better off with a business rule than a client script, for example. If the answer is, how do I make a business rule do X? Somebody will probably find a way to do that. But is it the right way? Maybe not. So give us a little context of what you're working on and the issue you're having, and we'll be able to help you much, much more effectively. I should just put that right on the screen. I will share best practices when I have them, when the opportunity comes up. Spent about 5 years authoring and tailoring the best practices at ServiceNow. Hello, just observed something today with our developer instance. While typing anything between blank, suppose test 1 through 3 in description field on incident form. The text disappears after saving the form, but the list view shows the value in the description data. Our Helsinki is patch 12A. Has anyone come across? FYI, Helsinki is about to go unsupported real fast in about one more day. Kingston Market launch is coming out, so I'm just going to put that as a footnote. This sounds like HTML sanitizer is coming into play. I don't know why this thing keeps timing out. You know what? I am just going to close that window and bring it back up. I don't believe that login should be there. Something crazy. And that's just on my way to this next tab where I'm looking for HTML sanitizer. Come on. Well, this gives me a chance to finish off my morning tea. I feel like I'm the person building the cache sometimes. There we are. And the developer portal may actually have something on that as well. Let's do a quick check here. HTML sanitizer. And full of people watching the YouTube live. Thank you very much. Search ServiceNow docs. HTML sanitizer. There we are. ServiceNow documentation site is currently undergoing testing and may be intermittently unavailable for the next few hours. Swell! Let's see what kind of fun that adds to our day. This sounds like you may be encountering the HTML sanitizer. This is built in for your safety to protect the data from bad stuff being injected and possibly ruining your interface. In HTML fields, certain text is allowed and certain text is not. If test 1, 2, 3 is not valid, it is stripped out. Now he's going to tell me, oh, but the description field is not an HTML field. Then why are you trying to put HTML in there? Or I'm just full of crap. That could be. Line manager approval. In the request item form, I have a line manager approval field. When I click that field and save, the tick mark is not showing after save. Expectation, when I check that field and save, the checkbox will be checked. How is it work? I would check for client scripts or something that's unchecking that. Are there any client scripts on that catalog item that could be interfering? If you don't see anything, try removing the field, removing the variable, and rebuilding it with a different name. And test again. Something's making it unchecked. That's not natural behavior. To target one specific variable? Very odd. All right, into service management. How did I get here? Oh, I clicked the service management link on one of these things. I did not click the actual article. Service portal scripted list. These are always interesting. I have created a portal for GRC application, which is a scoped application of ServiceNow. I have created a new scoped application in which I have created a portal for GRC components. Everything works fine on the portal except for the header menu items. I've created a menu item which is of type scripted list and put in the below script, but the menu item is never visible in the header. I almost knocked over something. I've put in logs everywhere and found to execute properly, but not sure why the menu header menu item doesn't appear. I have never used a scripted list widget before. T equals data. T items is empty. gs.getUser.getID. I prefer gs.getUserID. It's shorter. It's probably just a call to the same thing underneath, but I think it's a little more readable. That's your preference. T record watchers is an empty array. Record watchers push. Name of the table and assigned to plus U. U was the user ID. Okay, so we got a table and a filter. I'm just being a little pedantic here, but when I see an object being built, proper JavaScript is double quotes. It's about the only place I ever get persnickety about quotes. It works, it's fine, but I've had some like JSON validators tell me it's not. I just like to keep those JSON validators acquiesced. Okay, now we're going to get a record. This time I use gs.getUserID. Interesting. Assigned to this person logged in. Sort by when it's updated. Set limit to max. Where did max come from? Max is 30. Okay, just checking. And my first question is, are there any log errors in the console log? This is server code, so the answer is going to be no. Link. Get message, view all evidences. Is that a word? Evidences? Type link. href is ID request items is empty. T.items unshift link put all evidence first. I really don't know what is being built here. That's one where I'd have to sit down and take a look at it. We've got 10 things in the inbox. Let's take a little bit of time to clean that out. There it is. Told you. Might have another one coming. Yep. Sorry. I should mute when I do that. Okay. 5 days ago. Hello, everyone. One of the case records in the view UI action reply email under related lists. Customer initially requested journal entries be included. It clicks reply email. Can you provide a screenshot? Okay. Please find the attached screenshot. Hope it helps. So I'm looking for these emails to be added to the reply email actions tab. Okay, so that's in the activity history. Those, oh. When you reply, you want the previous replies? I wouldn't. I would not. Let's see this one. Work notes, something it said under there. Okay, here's a case. Here we only get initial comments and work notes, which is the case record. In a similar way, I also need to get content body of emails to and from. In this case, we have 6 emails, so we can have at least 3 emails to be added similar additional. Technically possible. I wouldn't recommend it. You're going to wind up with a big old email. Does anybody like emails that have a lot of threads in there? I mean, the idea is... Okay. Theoretically, you could do this if you went to the sys email table and did a glide record query against the last 3 records you want and hope they are relevant. Relevant. One of those words I'm never really sure how to spell. Hope they're relevant. Parse them, because they have headers and everything else. then insert them into your email using an email script. Sounds like a bit of work, also known as customization. Find out if the labor involved is worth the risk, cost, and time to develop it. Let's see, requirement. There, I'll start out with, it's not available out of the box. Again, it's one of those situations where you really have to look at the cost of what this is. You've done diligence by asking on the community, can this be done? And if it comes back that this is a customization, this is something you're going to have to script, a lot of customers are starting to shy away from that. I shouldn't say starting. A lot of them have been shying away. Some have implemented a culture of, quote unquote, no customizations, meaning we're not going to script anything. If it's not available, you better have a really, really, really powerful reason for why we need it, because that's going to come back and bite you when you do upgrades, because somebody has to test that. And testing is costly. The fewer customizations you do, the fewer tests you have to do for those customizations. And if something doesn't pass a test, now you've got to go back and tweak your customization, and that's even more costly. So keep those things in mind when you do the upgrades. To be perfectly clear, I'm not advocating that you do no scripting. This platform is built to be very highly configurable, highly customizable, and if you observe best practices, go over to the technical best practices page on the developer portal. Yet another thing I often forget to advertise that's out there. If you use technical best practices, you insulate yourself. I won't say completely remove yourself, but you insulate yourself from a lot of those upgrade challenges. It's still something that's got to be tested because you changed functionality of the system. You extended the functionality of the system in some way, and you still need to test that. It's a new functionality you put on there. Hey, are we getting these emails inserted into the outgoing mail? Are we getting the last 3 replies? Okay, is that still working the way we designed it and built it? Yes, great, let's go on. If you hadn't done that, then you don't have to test it, right? So that was a long-winded answer that only you, the viewer, is going to get, and I hope you find that valuable and a reason for watching this at some point. I should just reference them. Tell them to go to this particular video at time mark about 23 minutes and listen to my blathering. Okay, text written in between tags disappears. Bernie is very smart. I like listening to what Bernie says. This appears to be the effective security setting which processing what you enter in the HTML tag. Check your security properties since what I recall can be prevented. High security setting properties. Specifically, allow code tag allows script. Interesting. I like that. Probably smarter than the sanitizer. Sanitizer only work on HTML fields. That's what I like about the community. Different viewpoints to the same problem often yield, maybe yield a result. Didn't I just click the next one? Service portal scripted list. OSFIT. I've created a GRC portal. Was I watching this? Did I make a comment? Oh, I mentioned in this. Tag me at the end. All right, so I am going to respond. Since he tagged me, I'm going to respond. And I also already looked at it, so I don't have to read. I've never used this type of list before. Sorry. If I had a couple extra hours today, I'd play around with it. But as Knowledge and CreatorCon approach, my time goes. And we are also launching this thing this year called Developer Days for customers and prospects to learn more about ServiceNow as a platform. So I may be on the road for a bit for that. And we got a review sessions for CreatorCon. Speakers have done their submissions. Selections have been made. Now we review content. Twice. Including mine. So I have to build the content and then review it. Something's wrong with this picture. Translate of language in customized service portal. This was 4 weeks ago, and thanks, Chuck. That works. But there was one more issue. I'm not able to translate. Is this the original author? Karshika. Yep. Okay. This is a very protracted conversation because it started 4 weeks ago, but then sat idle for over the holidays. There's one more issue. I'm not able to translate the link which I have scripted in HTML format into the service portal. I have tried translating code in the sys-translated text, but it is still not reflecting. Okay, the way you would do this in service portal, this I do know because I have done it. Now, the way I do translated text in service portal is to get the text during the server script, which runs first, and use it in the HTML, something like this. Var data.more, message more equals gs.getMessage my app more message, and make it no, it has a default. Anyway, then go to then in the HTML. I'm trying to remember my syntax. Data.more message more. You reference it that way, or is it c.data? No, c is in the. Yeah, that's it. C is in the client script. Don't ask. I'm still coming to grips a year later with some of this Angular JS stuff. Well, that was fun. Another message from Bernie. Bernie has responded. Is the field text type or HTML type? Which means is it Chuck's answer or is it Bernie's answer? Leon, how do I prevent rows removed by security constraints from being displayed? And we were working on that message. They were working on a before query business rule to try and emulate what the ACLs are doing. Because when you have an ACL that says you're not allowed to read this record, it's still going to try and display to the list, but then it'll say, oh, no, wait, no, you can't read that one. And it will say rows removed due to security constraints. If you put a before query business rule in, it filters out those records before. And I said, what if you just used current.canRead? I tried this solution you proposed. It didn't change the behavior. Won't this simply return a true into the ether? I thought you... Oh, you're... No, wait. Thought you'd have to use at least something like add query to modify what is being returned back. It is a query. He's right. So we're querying for a list of records, and you want... But add query is returning... Yeah, he's right. I was thinking so simply and clearly yesterday, it was too simply. All right, I'm going to mark that one as unread so that it stays in my inbox. What would we do without the inbox? Issues in client script. This was started yesterday. Recently upgraded Jakarta. They're getting an error message. And I said, rather than what he's trying to do is use a display business rule this the one? No. I'm sorry, this is a different one. What he's trying to do, I'll show you a picture, because there was a picture in here. Oh, there was. He's got 3 fields and wants to set one from the other. So when he sets field 1, field 2 will populate. If you change field 2, field 3 will populate. And he was trying to do this with a get reference, and I said, probably better off doing this as a glide record. I tried glide Ajax. Forget I said that first part. I've tried glide Ajax. Its function is expected, but when I am making the variable requested for empty, the same error is getting displayed. Let's see what that looks like. Can you share what you have for the onChange script watching the requested for variable? Could be that you simply need to abort / return when the value is empty rather than trying to do a lookup. For example, if new value equals nothing, return. That would go at the top of the script, by the way. Okay, set delegate to get email approvals. So they've set up delegation and said, well, is there a way to get email to only the delegate for an approval notification? When we check CC notifications and check approvals, the delegate gets CC'd on all the emails for whomever the delegated for. Any idea how to get them to just the CC'd on approval notifications? No idea. That's just the way delegation works right now. Oop. What happened here? Didn't put my text in the box. I have no idea. No idea. No idea if this is possible. It is currently the way delegation works. I'm not sure. Here. As a customer, not sure I want to leave out the delegate, the delegator from the email thread. I'm thinking as an executive VP or something. I would still want to be notified when my admin assistant is approving things in ServiceNow. Wouldn't you? Imagine if I ever became an executive VP. Google Drive integration using Service Account. I'm trying to integrate Google Drive API. I have completed integration using normal Google account. However, requirement is now to do it with a Google Service Account, which is not a very straightforward stuff. I'm able to set up the service account and manage to create the JWT as well. However, while requesting the API, I get the below error. Invalid JWT, failed audience check. Okay. My requested endpoint is Google APIs, a web token. I have never done anything like this. Please let me know if you came across any integrations with Google Service accounts. Nope. Pretty specialized work there. I haven't done anything. Who else did he CC? Was it Josh? No, pretty. Anything like this in the past? Sounds like a good experiment, though. Speaking of experiments, I'm going to be finishing up my live coding happy hour on Friday. If you're not familiar, live coding happy hour, I should have a little banner at the bottom. Live coding happy hour is where Josh Nereus, Dave Slusher, and I get together And we find a problem and we solve it. We don't always know what we're going to do and what we're going to solve. We go in and much like this, it's a thought process that you get to share on. And it's reason it's called Live Coding Happy Hour. The happy hour part is we drink beer while we're working on ServiceNow. It's the best way to end a week. And we will take that and again, share our insights of how we design these solutions, how we get to them. It's not just a polished demo of, oh, here's a way to build this. It's, that didn't work. That's funny. Let's go find out why. You know, is it authentication? Is it ACL? Is it what's going on? And sometimes we end up at a different place than when we thought. And sometimes we think something's going to be very, very hard, and it turns out to be very, very simple. Back, I think it was in November, I started creating something with the Amazon IoT dash buttons. I got the dash button to respond, and long story short, I'm going to be finishing up that application or moving it down the field this Friday. So Friday at, what is it, 2:30, 3? I think it's 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern Time. You do the math. Hope you can join us. That will be on the Developer Community channel on YouTube. So go look for ServiceNow Developer Program. Excuse me, ServiceNow Dev Program. And you can find that. In fact, let me pull that up. I thought perhaps it was available on the developer portal. Community events, learn, API. Let's just look for YouTube. Go to YouTube, and I will show you where that is. And I search for, make that bigger. Oh, look, the ServiceNow Community live stream right now. ServiceNow Developer Program. Probably listen to a ServiceNow Dev Program. There it is. So find that, subscribe to that. I'm you and 1,800 of your other friends. And you will get alerted when Live Coding Happy Hour goes live. And I look forward to seeing you there. I'll untie my bow tie because it is the end of the week. And it's getting just kidding. This thing were choking me, I would have taken it off years ago. Let's look and see if anything new has come into the community since I've been talking about other stuff. It is 20 minutes to the hour already. Wow, time flies. Thank you for joining me. I made this a little too large. Now I can't see the chat window. There we are. So give me a shout out if you're on the YouTube or Twitch channels. Love to say hi. We usually have a fairly consistent group of people that watches every day. It's Wednesday, January 10th. January is a third over already. I feel like I just put on my shoes and set my feet on the floor. And the race has already left the starting blocks. Generate tasks depending on approval. Sounds like a pretty simple workflow. Hello, experts. Jabawadwani. Hello, experts. In our requested item, catalog tasks are generated depending on logic that only if an approver checks the checkboxes of the task on the approval form. Okay. Then the tasks are generated. But we are facing an issue here that even when the approver checks the checkboxes, the tests are not being generated. In some cases, I mean, the script is working sometimes, it's not. Why are we generating them this way? These are 3 checkboxes on our approval form. The approval group contains 2 members. The following is a screenshot of our workflow in which we use 3 if checks to check the value of the checkboxes on the approval form. Okay, that is a lovely workflow. See if I can follow it. Somewhere there's an if in here. Approval group, goes down to set values. Values, where's our 3 ifs? Here they are. Okay, so it does a branch. Do you want to join in there as well? Maybe? Okay, if fulfillment is hard to see what the if is. Did it say sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, or it used to work and now it doesn't? The script is working sometimes and not working in others. I am going to recommend step 1 that go to sysapprover. They're assuming only one approval for most of the times the script works perfectly and generates tests, but sometimes it doesn't. I see a couple of things. A couple things jump out at me right away. First, you may want to consider, add a join after the 3 tasks. Well, no, because they're ifs, and if all of them don't trigger, you're going to be sitting there waiting for all 3 of them. Okay. Let's start this over. Scratch that idea about the join after the branch. You mentioned an approval group. That implies you have more than one approver. Yet your script is only picking up the first one. So, let me take a look at that script again real quick. Go to sysapproval approver. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't do this by number. I would do sysapproval and current.sysid. Numbers are not always unique. Then the state is requested. Wouldn't there potentially be more than one approval for that record? If you had 2, 4, or 10 approvers in that group. By the way, a more efficient way of doing your add query would be to go against the sysapproval record reference field and not .walk. Why? Anybody answer me? Why? To .number. That just does an extra query for no reason. Example. What'd they call this? gr.add query sysapproval current.sysid. gr.add, oops, not gs. gr.add query sysapproval current.getValue sysid. You will notice I use getValue a lot instead of using the dotted notation. Learn from it. Avoid many mistakes. And let's see what comes back from that. 6 things in the inbox. We are coming up at 1/4 I did not respond to this one about the Google service accounts. This may be a case where you need to engage professional services from ServiceNow or one of our wonderful partners. There we are. Interestingly enough, this was answered a long time ago. Okay, writes back. I think there may be a misunderstanding. What I'm trying to accomplish is preventing my delegate from getting a copy of every single email I get. We have it set up so that he can only delegate for my approvals. Now that delegate is getting CC'd on all emails that the system sends out to me, whether I'm... What we really want is for the delegate to only get CC'd on emails that he actually is responsible for, which are my approvals, nothing else. Currently getting bombarded with emails. Okay. So they're looking at taking all these delegated emails. I thought when you check the box, it says delegate for emails and tasks, and they would just want approvals and tasks, and this one just wants the approvals. No way that I know offhand, but no way that I know offhand. Seems like a logical request. I'll stay tuned to this thread. If nothing comes up in the next soon, reach out to here. Macro time. I think that's the first one I used today. Reach out to support. I'll be interested to what they say, which is honest to truly the real. Wendy Peterson, is it possible? This one intrigued me yesterday just from the subject. She's using a DB exception table and had a related list and said, well, if I've got a developer field on this exception record, how do I get that information into this field? And I suggested it's one of two ways, because I thought this was a list field. I apologize. It looks like a reference field. So I just recreated the table to figure out how to use list in the request. So I have a list called uDeveloper. Looks like a reference field more than a list. List field is going to hold a multiple. Got to get the terminology correct here. I apologize if that was an issue. Which is the people I associated with this record for the server. How would I set up a variable to give me a list of only developers listed in that record? But they only get to choose one. Oh, okay. I can do this. The question is, can I do this in the next few minutes? I think I understand now. You want a reference qualifier on that developer field to filter out or to display only the users that are associated with the server selected. Correct? She did say server, right? Pick the server. What's the field right above that? Database type. And she said, if you pick a SQL database, it's going to find somewhere. Okay, so the idea is these are picks a value. I'm probably going to dot this. Steps. We'll do this as numeric. These are picks a value in the server. What is it? The type? I apologize for scrolling up and down. When I watch WebExes and people do this, I get a little nauseous. So apologies first. They're going to pick the select SQL database MRGS. So they're going to look for SQL database MRGS. Okay, so they're going to pick the SQL database. EB. Trying to finish my conversation up there. You're going to pick the value in the SQL database. System will look up all records in your exception table and get a list of developers. It could be 0, it could be 1, or 100 people. list only those developers as choices. Right? If the above assumption is correct, here's the game plan. I'm not going to write it entirely. Don't have time for that this morning, unfortunately. Step 1. Create an unchanged client script on the SQL DB field. When the value changes, the script runs. The unchanged client script uses glide Ajax. No. Yes? Shoot. I just went from reference qualifier to an unchanged client script. Two different things. Is a reference qualifier only going to run when it's loaded? Okay, here's what to try. I haven't tried this, so it's only a theory. Only a theory. Actually, I have tried this before. I know this will work. I've used it on record producers before. Okay. In the reference qualifier field on that variable, the developer variable, call a script include function. Something like this. JavaScript, get DB users, and you pass it to sysid in plus the return of that. You're going to pass it dot variables dot DB system name, whatever. Just above, so the variable is the proper name of your DB variable. Okay, so you're going to get the variable, pass it to the script. It's going to then create the script include. Watch episode 5, 6. 6 is script includes. Uh-oh, Chuck's getting old. Can't remember his episode numbers anymore. These are like the 3 most common ones that I've referenced. 6 is script includes. Yep, okay. Watch episode 6 of Tech Now. Link below. To create a standalone function script include. It starts with the word function. That script include is going to query the table for all records where the server matches the value passed in and returns a string of sysids from the developer field. Example, function get DB users, DB ID. That's a crazy variable name, DB ID. I'll call it database ID. Let me scoot that up a little bit. And var rec equals glide record your exception table. This is kind of like live coding happy hour here, but I don't have to test it and run it. rec.add query. I don't know, I'm going to take a guess and say the field name is called SQL database. U SQL database EBID rec.query. I probably need an answer in here. Answer equals here. List is a generic array, empty. Well, rec.next. Trying to get away from the word, the variable name gr. It's used too many places, and some places it's not properly scoped. List.push rec.getValue. Here's another place where you want to use getValue, especially when getting sysids out of loops. That's the biggest place it will come to bite you. You developer, and then return. I know it's getting down at the bottom of the screen again. List.join. Put those sysids together so that all this is going to do is go get those records. You say, hey, here's a SQL database. Go find all the records from that table that match that SQL database. Look in the developer field and build a list of those IDs. Now that is going to return a string of sysid, 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 which will then get hooked into the reference qualifier of that variable, which says only show the records where the sysid is one of these people. That's the idea. Build your own filter. And that took, what, about 10 minutes to respond to that one? Whew. I'm getting slower. Okay, set delegate to approval emails. I recommended they reach out to customer support, and I don't know a way to do this. Yeah, I thought that would be your answer. I appreciate your response, and I'll definitely reach out to Hi and post the answer when I get. Yay! Thank you. I like that. And how do I prevent rows removed from security constraints? Don't know. Text written between tags. Kojima response to Barney. Is it a text field? As you mentioned about the HTML sanitizer and HTML fields, but the description field is string field. I lose. Does the sanitizer work for string fields also? Field type is string type. I will respond and say HTML sanitizer is for HTML fields only. Sorry for the confusion. I recommend pursuing Barney's proposed solution. Learned something new today. That means I'm done. It is the top of the hour. Again, take a look over at developer.servicenow.com for your free developer instance and play around with some of the stuff that we've been discussing. If you've got an issue on your instance and you want to try a little sandbox, or potentially try Kingston. Kingston is officially market launched tomorrow on January 11th. It is January 10th today, but there's nothing stopping you. The personal developer instances do offer Kingston if you want to look at some of the features that are available there. I recommend doing that. I will be back tomorrow with more community questions. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel over at the URL shown there, or go over to Twitch and take a look at that. My name, as I mentioned before, is Chuck Tomasi. I'm the ServiceNow guy with the red bow tie, and I will see you at Knowledge 18 with any luck, or possibly a developer meetup. Check developer.servicenow.com or go to meetup.com and look for ServiceNow Developer Program and look for the developers that are available there. Love to see you at one of those as well. They're a lot of fun. They are focused on developers and ServiceNow and the stuff we do and the stuff we build and the questions we have. Very much like a community in real life with some cool demonstrations and whatnot. Well, until tomorrow, I wish you all the best. Have a good day and take care.